Hi besties, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you my updated makeup routine, and I'm going to start off with cleaning my face. You want a clean canvas, then I'm going to go on and use a toner. This is from Beauty by AD. Go in with a hydrating toner that will help to make your face plump and ready for makeup. Next I'm going to go in with the Ezekiel Vitamin C serum all over my face. Next, I'm going to go in with the Flawless Ivy Moisturizer. This is suitable for both dry skin and oily skin. Just use it according to how your skin needs it. And then I'm going to just be brushing up my brows to prep it for when I'm drying my brows. I'm using the Asenime Secret Primer all over my face. This is a step that you shouldn't miss whenever you're doing your makeup. To color correct, I'm going to be using the Ezekiel Omaji Butternut Concealer in shade Toffee. I'm using my hands to blend this out because I want a skin-like finish. I don't want the beauty blender to take so much of it because I didn't put so much on my skin. Now I'm using the Flawless Pressed Powder to set everything that I just corrected. You want to use a powder that is very close to your skin tone or a translucent powder. I'm going in with the Ezekiel Skin Pro Filter Foundation, and I'm going to be applying this mostly at the down part of my face because I want to control how my makeup is going to be applied throughout the makeup. So when you're blending, it's better to blend from the lower part of your face and then take whatever is left to the upper part of your face. In that way, you have less products and more control. For bronzing, I like to use the shade Rosewood from my Ezekiel palette. This helps bring warmth and color back into my skin that the foundation has most likely removed. So this is an important part of your makeup as well, to add structure. I'm going ahead to apply the same concealer I applied earlier. I apply this under my eye, my chin, my forehead, and the bridge of my nose. Then I go ahead with the Divine Gold Concealer to do the exact same thing. I apply the Flawless Ivy Flirty Flush Blush on my cheeks and my temples and make sure that I blend seamlessly. I go ahead to blend out my concealer, making sure I start from the lower part of my face and moving upwards. So I start with my chin and then my forehead before I do my under eyes. My under eyes I usually do last. I'm going to be applying the shade Soft Tan of the Butternut Concealer under my eyes, under my brows, and on my forehead with the bridge of my nose as well. Then I go ahead to use a brush to first blend it out before I then use a beauty blender. I normally do not blend out my under eye with the beauty blender. I first use a primer spray to set my face before I then use the beauty blender to blend just my under eye. Now that my base is ready, I'm going to be setting it with pressed powder. I'm using the shade Umber and Peanut Butter of this Ezekiel palette. This is one of my favorite palettes, honestly. I just set gently, not too much. You make sure that you're not applying too much powder. I'm now going to be going in with the shade Cabri Brown of the Tehila Cosmetic Loose Powder, and I'm going to be using this to set my under eye lightly again. Yes, if you want that buttery finish, sometimes one powder will not do the job. But this I will recommend if you are going out for events or an occasion. If you are going about your daily activities, you don't necessarily have to use so much product. I'm now going to be using the Flawless Ivy powder to just set the perimeters of my face, not necessarily touching where I have now set with powder or where my blush is applied. I love to use this palette for contouring. I use these two shades, the darker one first to sculpt and then the lighter one to give more of a bronzed finish on my face. I'm using these two shades from my eyeshadow palette to apply blush. I wanted a very red blush, that's why I went ahead with that. And now I'm using the Ezekiel You Make Me Blush palette. So to bake, I'm going to be using the shade Brownstone under my eyes and my chin and my forehead as well. I go ahead now to just dust off the excess powder that I don't need. I did my brows off camera, so let's just go into eyes. For eyes, I'm going to be going in concealer as my primer. I believe this is going to be a very simple eyeshadow look that everybody can actually do. I'm using the loose powder from earlier to now set the concealer. Going in with the shade that I used to bronze and a fluffy brush, I'm just going to be applying that to the outer corner of my eyes, and then in the inner corner of my eyes, that's where my brows and my nose meet, just to add depth into my eyes. I also use the loose powder for my brow bones, just to give that matte look. I went ahead to use the V Beauty eyeliner to draw a straight line across my eyes. I know it might not be straight, but just keep on going. You need just the tiniest line. Dusting off the excess powder from under my eyes so that I can now go in with the same shade I used for my eyes under my eye. That's the brown shade. I'm going ahead to just add a little bit of shimmer on my eyes just to make it sparkle, and then I'm going to tightline my under eyes. I like to use the DD Beauty mascara for my top and bottom lashes. I like the small parts that you can use for your bottom lashes. It is so helpful. I went ahead to apply my false lashes off camera, and can you see how beautiful it looks? Now I'm just pressing in any excess powder that might be left on my skin, just to make sure that it's set. For my lips, I'm going to be using the Ezekiel Lip Out Lip Liner in brown, and I'm just going to be using it to line the top and the bottom of my lips. Make sure that I follow the natural shape of my lips. I don't overline my lips normally. I decided to use this Beauty by AD nude lip gloss, and it got me scared a little bit, I can't lie, because it was really nude, but I was like, you know what, we can remedy this as always. I used a brown lip gloss from Ezekiel Cosmetics to line where my brown lip liner was. And then I just went ahead to use this nude lip gloss, and wow, it is so beautiful. It came out so beautifully, and I'm very happy about it. To set the rest of my face, I'm going to be using these two sprays. The first one is the Flawless Ivy Primer Spray. I recently started using it whenever I'm finishing my makeup. And then I used the FBH Locked-In Spray. After letting it all dry, I'm going to go ahead with one final pass of powder, of pressed powder all over my face, just to set everything one last time. And then I used this powder from Sahil just to apply it on the inner corner of my eye. I used the shimmer crease again to apply highlighter, and wow, this is a very beautiful highlighter, I can lie. And this is the final look, besties. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial and you did learn something from it. Do also subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, besties.